everyone, it's Jack from Cultaholic back again, and are you ready to get extreme? Lots to talk about tonight and lots of big stipulations as well. Daddy Trips has brought the weapons back, baby. We've got a fight pit between Seth Rollins and Matt Riddle to talk about. We've got a ladder match between Bayley and Bianca Belair to talk about for the Raw Women's Championship. We've got a good old-fashioned Donnybrook. We've got an Extreme Rules match. It's all there to discuss in this very video. So sit back, relax, and enjoy as we talk about everything, because this is what happened at WWE Extreme Rules 2022. Kaya! No pre-show matches, but the pre-show is interrupted at one point by another White Rabbit clue. There's a bit of an 8-bit video game themed thing going on. The White Rabbit burrows down into an X on the floor and then fire shoots up out of it. And because it's 8-bit and all video gamey, Kenny Omega's coming to WWE confirmed. No, of course, we don't know yet who's gonna be the White Rabbit, but what we do know is they repeat the same segment again as the entrances for the first match are taking place. So they're really hammering this home now. That first match in question is the good old-fashioned Donnybrook between the Brawling Brutes and Imperium. It's 6-man tag team action, but there's no tags and there's no DQs. There's also a pub-themed kind of set around the ringside area. There's a bar, there's some barrels, there's weapons all around, there's shillelaghs and that sort of thing. It's all a good recipe for carnage. There's a big stare down to start and then a big brawl, and Imperium take control early on with Gunther again just lighting up Sheamus's chest with big chops. Sheamus's chest obviously still hasn't healed because it was only one night ago that he felt the wrath of Gunther once more. Ridge, though, gets his team back into it with a double flapjack or like a backdrop, some sort of double slamming move to 2 Imperium members, but then Butch fights back as well. At this point, it's kind of his spotlight moment of the match, and he looks really brave, taking on all 3 Imperium members at once. Sheamus gets the bro kick, but the pinfall attempt gets broken up by a nice springboard into the ring from Fabian Eichner. I've just realized I've called him Eichner now twice, and he's obviously called Giovanni Vinci. I feel so stupid. Sheamus also gets the Texas Cloverleaf locked in, which almost maybe should have won him the match on SmackDown this week. And again, Gunther can't escape from the hold, but Ludwig Kaiser helps him out, snapping a shillelagh over Sheamus's exposed back. We then get maybe a miscommunication in the match as Sheamus hits kind of the brogue knee to Gunther's chin, covers him, and then you see Gunther actually look outside the ring and go like, come on lads, break up the spot now, because I think Imperium were meant to pull him out of the ring to safety, but they were too late to get on the scene, so Gunther just had to kick out himself. Still, I think in the context of this very fast-paced, chaotic match, it's not too bad as it would have been in a normal tag team match. It's not as noticeable. The brawl spills to the outside. Pete Dunne, or Butch, kicks things up another notch with a moonsault off the barrels, and then Sheamus kicks out of a shillelagh shot. They're really making Sheamus look strong here. He then hits the Celtic Cross through the announce table, a horrible landing for Gunther, but it looked amazing, and it's 3-on-1 back in the ring. The Brawling Brutes, excuse me, I'm so excited, hoist Vinci up to his feet. Sheamus nails the bro kick, and the Brawling Brutes get the win. The next match is the SmackDown Women's Championship match with Liv Morgan defending against Ronda Rousey, and of course, it's fought under Extreme Rules. The story is that Liv has started to recently embrace her extreme nature. She goes for the baseball bat early on, but Ronda stops her and throws it out the ring because Ronda's saying, I don't need all these weapons, I'm dangerous enough on my own. Early on in the match, Liv goes for a baseball slide, but Ronda traps her in the apron and goes to slap her in the face, and Liv's like, come on! So Ronda does do it, but Liv's embracing the violence. She wants the pain. Liv then uses a fire extinguisher to turn the tide, but then Ronda gets the bat, and now she's not afraid to use the weapons. She's not too proud to do that, and she just sort of gives like little taps. She just hits Liv with little taps from the bat. Oh, then Liv gets the bat and also few little taps. Then it gets a bit more brutal because Ronda uses her black belt, which she wore as part of her entrance gear, to tie Liv to the ring post and hits like slightly heavier shots with the bat. So things are escalating slightly. It was a bit worrying at first, but they kind of got into it. They go for a chair spot in the corner back in the ring, but the chair falls away. There's a bit of a miscommunication, but they just go through with the spot anyway, with Liv kicking Ronda, not into the chair because it's not there anymore, but into the ring post. So fair play to them for sorting that one out there. Nice little bit of improv. Liv then grabs the chair and, more little taps with the chair. Just little tippity taps, but then she does hit a nice code breaker with the chair, but Ronda kicks out at 2. Liv goes high risk. She puts Ronda on a table and crushes her with a big senton from the top, but Ronda kicks out at 2 again. Ronda then tries to go for the armbar or maybe a triangle. She throws up her legs looking for a submission. Liv kind of does a mini powerbomb, lifts her and slams her onto a section of the table, but Ronda again kicks out at 2. Ronda then, now I'm not even certain what submission she had on in the first place, but then the commentary are like, oh, she's transitioning to a different submission, but they don't know really what to name it. It's kind of like a triangle choke, but similar to the octopus hold. I don't really know. I'm no Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu expert myself, as you can probably tell from that, but I'm not sure how convincing it looked, to be honest. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. If people who know better than me can let me know in the comments down below. The point is, whether it looked convincing or not, it chokes out Liv Morgan, and Ronda Rousey is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. She celebrates in a heelish fashion, but the story also seems to be that Liv was smiling as she passed out, so I don't think this feud's over yet now that Liv's scary and has learned how to embrace the extreme, guys. The next match is Drew McIntyre versus Karrion Kross. It's the strap match stipulation, and of course, Scarlett is in the corner of Karrion Kross. Will she get involved in the finish? Oh, who knows? Yes, she will. Scarlett, in fact, gets involved at the start of the match as well, handing Kross the advantage, but then Drew takes him into the crowd and they brawl in there, and commentary point out the match hasn't even officially begun. Back to ringside, and Drew hits a huge sidewalk slam onto the apron. He gets Kross back in the ring, puts the strap around his wrist, and the match begins, and Drew just starts whipping the hell out of Karrion Kross. Sounds loud as well, good shots. Scarlett at one stage distracts Drew, helping Kross turn the tables, and now Kross takes control, yanking Drew shoulder first into the ring post. Kross hits almost an end of days, a backwards falling, almost DDT or end of days flatliner type maneuver into the announce table, and they go, oh, he's really hurt Drew there, but surely onto the announce table, that would hurt Karrion as well. So I'm not sure if I bought that move, but he does whip Drew loads and loads and loads, while Scarlett goes, more, and I buy that far more as an effective offensive maneuver. But Drew starts to no-sell the whips because he's really tough, and he fires up, hitting his signature offense back in the ring, but then Kross fires up too, and now we just have the image of both men with the whip in their hands, or the strap, I guess, just whipping each other in the face again and again. Drew wins the exchange and prepares to hit the Claymore, but Scarlett gets involved again with pepper spray this time. She sprays Drew in the face for ages, there's loads of pepper spray emptied into Drew's face. Even Karrion Kross starts to sell it a bit, whoa, my eyes, but he takes full advantage, hitting his big blow to the back of Drew's head. 1, 2, 3, and Karrion Kross gets his big first win, or his first big win, or both. Drew sells the eyes hard after this one, and I wonder if it's going to have an effect on him in storyline going forwards. We'll have to wait and see. The next match is for the Raw Women's Championship, with the champion Bianca Belair defending against Bayley in a ladder match. And we see before the bell rings that NXT's Nikita Lyons is in the crowd watching on. Very interesting. It's an even back and forth start to this one until they fight to the outside, and Bayley, with her dirty heel tactics, starts to win the brawl. But then Bianca uses her agility to kind of spring back into the ring, and she almost climbs the ladder, but Bayley stops her. Bianca takes control, lying Bayley on a prone ladder and hitting a nice handspring moonsault, but then Bayley gets her own back slightly later with a nice sunset flip, slamming Bianca into a ladder in the corner. Bayley hits probably the most impactful spot of the match in my opinion, a nice but nasty also running elbow drop from the apron, landing on a ladder bridge on which Bianca was placed from the corner of the ring steps to the guardrail. It looked very unique. A little later on, Belair hits the KOD and climbs. It looks like there's nothing to stop her now, but of course, Dakota Kai and Io Sky run out and save the day for Bayley. Belair takes care of them though with kind of a double KOD. That's what they were going for. It didn't quite look as crisp as the normal version, but the point was made. It still was effective. Bayley hits the rose plant and pins Bianca underneath the ladder as she climbs, but she didn't remember one thing, which is that Bianca's really, really strong. Bianca presses the ladder upwards from a lying position, and Bayley is tipped off into the ropes. Eventually, they both meet on top of the ladder and brawl and brawl and brawl. Bayley pulls Bianca hair first into the top rung of the ladder, and Belair falls down, but she knocks Bayley down as well by whipping her with her braid. Finally, we get the big climactic spot of the match, a ladder-assisted KOD from Bianca. So Bayley's holding like a smaller ladder for the duration of her taking the move. Now, on one hand, I liked it because it looked brutal. On the other hand, I didn't really like it because I thought, well, Bayley would surely sense this coming and either use the ladder to kind of try and hit Bianca or just let it go. But she didn't. She kept hold of it, and it was her own downfall. Bianca hits this ladder-assisted KOD, climbs, and retains the Raw Women's Championship. I thought it was a pretty enjoyable match, but yeah, there were one or two moments where there was a lot of obvious maneuvering into position, which I guess is always the risk when it comes to the ladder stipulation. Next up, it's the I Quit match between Edge and Finn Balor in a spooky, spiky entrance mask. Edge takes control early on, but Balor starts to work his weakened leg. I have to say, to be fair, it's quite a slow start because this is quite a long match. And like, there's a lot of the ref being like, are you going to give up? Are you going to quit after like a rest hold or a sling blade? Why would you give up after a sling blade? Oh, it was just too cool and spinny. They battle into the crowd and Edge is winning the battle. He batters Balor with a hockey stick. They go up into the stands and Edge goes to spear Balor down a flight of stairs, but Balor reverses it and Edge hits the guardrail crotch first. Oh. Balor batters Edge back down to the ring and starts beating him down with a chair, but Edge refuses to quit with very dramatic sound bites like, screw you, Finn, and I don't quit. Balor locks in various submissions and lays in some strikes, but still, Edge won't quit. Edge also gets a glimmer of hope, sending Finn into a chair in the corner and starts to fight his way back into the match. Chair shots to the leg, Educator locked in, and Finn's about to quit. But then Damian Priest and Dominic Mysterio interfere. Edge takes them all out with a big spear through the ropes and sets up Finn for another spear in the ring, but then Rhea Ripley handcuffs Edge to the top rope. The Judgment Day beat Edge down and Balor hits him again and again, a defenseless Edge getting hammered with kendo stick shots to the back. But here comes Rey Mysterio to save the day. He runs wild for a little bit, but then gets beaten down by his own son. Who's left to save the day now? Beth Phoenix is. She comes in and clears house with a kendo stick and brawls with Rhea to a massive crowd reception. She also unhandcuffs Edge because Rhea had the key and Beth got it from her. Edge is freed and backs down Dominic, who cowers and goes for a handshake, all the heelish stuff, but Edge doesn't pay attention and hits him with a low blow. Edge then starts spamming the spear button, 3 spears to Finn Balor and a chair leg assisted crossface, but back come the Judgment Day once again to beat Edge and Beth Phoenix down. 3 coups de grace into the ribs of Edge from Finn Balor, and Edge is asked if he wants to quit, but he tells them all to go to hell. So, and this is where things get a little bit too evil, guys. The Judgment Day threaten to concerto Beth Phoenix, and so Edge reluctantly quits and loses the match. Finn Balor has won, but Rhea Ripley does the concerto to Beth Phoenix anyway. Oh, this is sold as a really big deal, a really villainous act. All the referees come down and check on Beth Phoenix. Edge is going mad in the ring, and the Judgment Day, to be fair, they do look really evil, so I guess it did work. Before the main event, we get the culmination of a series of backstage segments that I've not mentioned up until this point because I thought I'd just mention them all now that it's come to an end before the main event. So basically, throughout the night, Miz has been getting annoyed by the Philadelphia Flyers mascot, Gritty. The implication very much being like, oh, it's going to be Dexter Lumis inside the Gritty outfit. It turns out it's not. Lumis attacks Miz. Miz, has beaten down Gritty, thinking it's Lumis. It's not. Lumis just appears from behind and chokes out the Miz, and then Gritty kicks him, and Lumis and Gritty walk off arm in arm, and they're best friends. So, the Miz has been fooled once again by Dexter Lumis. Haha! I want them to, speed this up. I want them to have a match or something now. And finally, the main event of the night, the fight pit between Matt Riddle and Seth Rollins, with Daniel Cormier, UFC legend Daniel Cormier, as the special guest referee. And I'm glad, it's cool to see him wearing, just normal referee attire. DC is a big fan of wrestling, and I think that probably was his own decision. I just want to look like a WWE ref. I think it was cool. We also see the NXT champion Bron Breakker watching on from the crowd. Now, when Rollins makes his entrance, I think this might just be an homage to ECW. He comes out in ring RVD themed ring attire, and he also does the whole effing show pose as well. So I think it was a deliberate choice. They start this match in sort of an MMA feeling out kind of way, but Riddle, obviously with real MMA experience, is dominating this. He's kicking Rollins, who occasionally gets caught and goes like, ah, ah. Riddle then hits a Showtime kick off the cage wall, kicking off it and then hitting Rollins in the head, and Rollins is down. But Riddle gets over enthusiastic as he presses the advantage and accidentally sort of shoves DC out the way, and DC has to grab Riddle and be like, whoa, 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 like you're fighting him, you're not fighting me. This, of course, allows Seth to cheap shot Riddle, but then he presses the advantage too much and shoves DC aside, and DC has to now warn Seth, whoa, 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 keep your hands off the official. Seth starts to dominate the match and hits a vertical suplex into the fence on Riddle. He then climbs halfway up and turns in midair into a splash from the side of the cage, just like in MMA. He also taunts Riddle and tells him he'll always be a loser, but Riddle fires up and hits an RKO out of nowhere. Another RKO slightly later is reversed and Rollins hits the stomp, but Riddle answers the count, so Rollins again heads halfway up the side of the cage, goes for a stomp from up there, but Riddle catches him and Rollins has to escape upwards onto the platform. Seth's pleased up there, this is like his domain, but Riddle follows him up and meets him up there and puts on a sleeper hold around one of the support chains. Rollins fights back with a buckle bomb into the side of the higher up cage bit on the platform now, and a pedigree as well, but they're still up on the platform, so Cormier can't technically count Riddle out. That has to happen down in the main ring. Rollins goes for another stomp, but Riddle reverses it into an RKO, and Seth flops gently down into the ring. Riddle looks down at him and hits a huge senton from the platform down onto Seth in the ring. It's probably the biggest spot of the night. Riddle then gets a triangle locked in. Seth tries to powerbomb his way out, clanging Riddle into the fence, onto the canvas, but Riddle just hangs on to that triangle, and eventually Rollins has no choice but to tap out. Matt Riddle has got his revenge on Seth Rollins and won in the fight pit. It seems like that is very much the end of the show. Riddle heads up the ramp with Daniel Cormier raising his arm, and the signature hits at the bottom of the screen, and uh-oh, the lights all go out, everyone. I think we all know what that is implying. We start to hear some soft, dulcet tones singing a slow, haunting version of He's Got the Whole World in His Hands. Spotlights appear around the arena at various points and reveal people dressed as the puppets from the Firefly Funhouse, the Buzzard, the Pig. I think Sister Abigail's there as well, someone in a Fiend costume too. Everyone is gradually getting louder and louder and losing their minds. There's also at one point like a mask or something on the announce table, and Corey and Cole go like, and run away, which is quite funny. On the Tron, we see the Firefly Funhouse, or like the old decaying room, I guess, the playhouse. All the puppets are scattered around. Some of them are only bones remaining. There's a TV in there, it flicks on, and we get evil voices coming from it, and what looks to be like a new mask as well. It's hard to make out what it's saying, but before I can really pay too much attention, we're back to the arena. By this point in the entranceway, there's a door, but it's also kind of like a tree, maybe signifying rebirth perhaps, and out comes the man himself, Bray Wyatt, with a new mask, with a new look as well. I don't know if he's going to go by the Fiend, because he pulls the mask off and it's just his normal Bray Wyatt face underneath, to, I must say, a huge pop as well. Then the feed cuts out, and the last image we get of Extreme Rules 2022 is of a logo which to me looks like, let me know what you think it represents, but I think it's like a moth or maybe a butterfly, again perhaps signifying some sort of rebirth or reincarnation. So there you go. Bray Wyatt is officially back in WWE. Now, unquestionably, that was the biggest thing to happen on this show. A great return, a great moment, really well built up to, of course, with the QR codes and the White Rabbit clues and all that sort of stuff. As for the show itself, I thought it was an ambitious card. I thought the wrestlers all tried really hard. I just think it was one of those nights where some things don't quite click. Maybe that was a factor because there were too many stipulations thrown together. I don't know, because it was good to see the stipulations make a return to Extreme Rules, so maybe it wasn't that. Maybe it was just one of those days, but it all got capped off in a very positive way with Bray Wyatt making his return. But hey, that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think in that comment section down below. And thank you very much for watching this video. I've been Jack from Cultaholic. Don't forget to smash that like button, guys, because we're on YouTube. And I'll see you very soon.